Hello, this is Mario 54321 coming to you about the Super Mario movie. I don't usually do this sort of thing on my channel, but for the Mario movie, I thought I'd make an exception. The Super Mario Bros. Movie is one of the best movies to come out this year so far. It even became one of the highest grossing video game movies of all time in its first week. Take that, Sonic the Hedgehog. It's so good that most of us know that it's going to get a sequel years from now, and in this video I want to share with you my predictions for that very sequel based on what was in the first movie. But first, fans love this movie because it's Super Mario and it has a ton of references that Mario fans recognize, and of course it's an origin story with lore similar to the SMB Super Show, with Mario and Luigi being humans in the real world that stumbled across the Mushroom Kingdom. Also, we have Peach being a strong female and not a damsel in distress because she grew up there. But moving on. Critics, however, didn't like this movie because they had a problem with the story, the characters, maybe the pacing, and direction to cram all those references in there. I personally had a problem with some of the humor. Plus, the two directors of the movie are the same two people who made this. Then we have all the pop culture references and the fact that the music made specifically for this movie is replaced with popular cover music. The nostalgia critic would go bananas over this! This can all be justified by the fact that Illumination made it given their reputation. But I've said enough. Now let's get to why you're here. Here's my predictions for this movie's upcoming sequel and what we can likely expect based on what we've seen. In the middle of the movie, we get Peach's backstory on how she ended up in the Mushroom Kingdom when she was just a baby. She says the first thing she remembers is getting to the Mushroom Kingdom and then the Toads finding her and then raising her. This establishes that Peach was a regular human just like Mario and Luigi. But how exactly did Peach find the green pipe in the real world in the first place? How exactly did she end up in the Mushroom Kingdom to begin with? We saw how Mario and Luigi ended up finding the green pipe, but what about baby Peach? How'd she make it all the way down there? This is something the sequel can tell us more about. It would provide a lot more lore to this world and more depth to Peach's character, as long as it fits with the sequel's storytelling. Maybe we'll even get more baby Mario and Luigi as a bonus. This movie also did a fantastic job establishing the Kongs as part of this world, especially during that scene where they made the stupid choice to replace Driving Me Bananas with Take On Me. Aside from Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong, whose voice doesn't fit him unlike in the DKC TV series, we also get Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, and Chunky Kong, who's not dead! The movie doesn't spend that much time here except for the arena where Mario fought Donkey Kong. Maybe the sequel will spend more time with the Kongs, and we can get to know each of the Kongs a little better, especially Diddy and Dixie and, oh my god, Chunky, and any other Kongs that were either in the background or not seen. I dare the sequel to make a reference to the Chunky is dead meme when he's not. One of the more disturbing elements in this movie is when Luigi gets captured and he finds this highly suicidal Luma in a cage, voiced by Juliet Genelic, who is the daughter of This idea probably sprang from the idea that stars live and die. That and Lumas in general in the Galaxy game. He hints at this in the middle of the movie. Speaking of which, in the sequel, we might get to see more Lumas and may even get to meet Princess Rosalina. And we'll get more Mario Galaxy references too. Perhaps the sequel will expand more on Lumas and why this particular Luma Lee is the way he is. If it's good enough for the movie's narrative, it's good enough to see it all. In the Mario movie's universe, the Donkey Kong arcade game is actually another arcade game called Jumpman. That was Mario's original name. And it's played by another character named Giuseppe, who's voiced by good old Charles Martinet. Apparently Giuseppe is supposed to be the OG Jumpman of this world. Anyway, in the Jumpman arcade game, Donkey Kong is replaced with a Yeti. Makes sense since they wouldn't know about Donkey Kong in this world, except in the Mushroom Kingdom. There was also Kid Icarus, but I digress. We got to see Pauline briefly in this movie. The original story for Mario, Donkey Kong, and Pauline that was established in the video games doesn't really seem to be the case with the movie. Of course, Brooklyn and the Mushroom Kingdom come together by the end of the movie. The point is, I'm left wondering, will we get to see more of Pauline? And if Pauline meets Donkey Kong, what's gonna be the character dynamic between them? Is she gonna get captured like in the games? I don't know. I know the movie had a lot to work with, but I just think that the movie could have done more with this. It was more of an afterthought in this movie. I'd just like to see the sequel touch more on Mario's original roots, which I think is more likely to happen than if the movie were to branch out to other subgenres of Mario like the RPG series, the Paper Mario series, the Super Mario Land series, Super Mario World, you name it. It already touched on the Galaxy series, Mario 64, Odyssey, 3D World, and Sunshine? We'll just have to wait and see. This next thing is more like something I don't want to see in the next movie. Power-ups were established in the movie, of course, including the Invincibility Star, which is the driving force of the movie and Bowser's source of power that lets him take over the Mushroom Kingdom. He destroyed a penguin ice castle to get it at the beginning of the movie. In terms of the movie on the surface, power stars are rare, but in hindsight, and especially in the games, it's just another power-up, albeit a rare one. But anyway, in this movie, exactly what places other than the ice castle have power stars? I don't want power stars to be just another item you can find in any item box. That would mean stars are more common than we thought. And it lessens the impact of this film's climax, and it gives critics a reason to bash the sequel. All I'm really saying here is for Nintendo and Illumination to be very careful with how items are balanced in this world. If they were to make a mistake or overlook something, well, that's what memes are made of. At the end of the movie, Bowser gets drunk with a tiny mushroom and put in a cage in Peach's castle. At least that's where you know he ends up if you see the mid-credits scene. You think he'll get out for the sequel though? And if he does, who will rescue him? Kamek, Bowser Jr., the Koopalings, Boom Boom and Pom Pom? Ludwig's name appeared on the piano that Bowser was playing when he was singing his song about Peach. That's the closest thing to the Koopalings in this movie. And if it's not Bowser, then what other big bad could it be? We'll have to wait and see. In the after credits scene, we see that a Yoshi egg has made it through to Brooklyn during that climactic conclusion. So it goes without saying that Mario and or Luigi will be riding Yoshi in the sequel. Heck, we might even get to know that Yoshi's in this movie world a little more. This and the after credits were all we got so far. The last prediction I want to make is really more what characters we want to see in the sequel. There's people who want to see Toadette, who got a cameo in this movie on a poster. There's people who want to see Princess Daisy, whose roots are tied to this game. And the Kingdom of Sarasaland. Don't get me started on the people who want to see this fat bastard. Please don't. Seriously! Last thing I want to mention is that if it can't be the sequel, or any of the sequels for that matter, there's always the Illumination shorts. Because again, the Mario movie was made by Illumination. Okay, I'm done. Any thoughts or comments you want to share with me, please post them in the comments below. Click here to check out some of my normal content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell icon, especially if you like what you see. This is MM54321. Enjoy!